Hi, everybody. It's Jules, and I want to welcome you back to the Fifth Year Podcast. Today, we have a few special guests. We have Aubrey Edens, who is one of our fifth year alumni, and her parents.
Hi, I'm Aubrey. This is my dad, Nick, and my stepmom, Crystal. When I first heard about fifth year, I was a senior in high school, and it was mid-April, so I was about half a month away from graduating, and there was an assembly where Jim came and talked to the entire senior class. And at first I was like, this is just going to be another college talk. I don't need to pay attention to this. I already know what I'm doing. And then I remember distinctly, he started talking about some canoeing story, and I took out my headphones and then I started listening, and then he started listing off all of these great things like moving out, getting internships, getting real world experience. And I really thought those things would be exactly what I wanted. So I joined quickly after.
Okay, that's awesome. So you went to the presentation, you go home. What's maybe parents' perspective when you guys both heard about what Aubrey was talking about in this fifth year program?
Yeah, so Aubrey was going, she had talked for a long time that she wanted to go to cosmetology school.
Yes.
And so that was kind of her goal. She didn't want to go to college. She wanted to go to cosmetology school. So that was what we had assumed she wanted to do. So she comes home and she's like, okay, I want to do this like fifth year thing. It's like a college university thing. And she didn't have a lot of great answers to any questions. And she's like, no, but we'll go talk to Jim. You can go talk to him. And I'm just thinking, this is not great. Because she didn't want to do college, and she had a path that, she was very defined. She was very sure that that's what she wanted to do. So then to have her come home and kind of be, all over. Yeah. So then I was like, all right, well, we'll go talk to Jim. And then we did. We met him and talked to him for a while. And how Aubrey described the program to us was not nearly as full-bodied as what Jim had described it.
Yes.
So then I was like, this is actually a great program. I do. And so at that point, I was like, I think this will be great for you. She was kind of like side-eyeing me the whole time we were talking to Jim. Like, what do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, my background, I'm a career counselor. I worked in colleges and universities and career services offices for years, for over 15 years. And so for me, and I found out what it was, like, oh my gosh, that is the best. I love it and was all for it. So.
Yeah. From your parents' perspective, what were some of those things maybe after Jim's meeting that you're like, this could be a good path?
Oh gosh, I think all of it. I think right now the high schools do a terrible job of preparing students for like adult life and what that looks like. So we transition kids from high school where, they're still kind of like in a controlled environment with their parents and they have all these rules, and then you just kind of send them out and you're like, go figure it all out.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to do like, budgeting or any of just life skills. And so that was one of the things that Jim mentioned, is that not only do they get to explore all these different avenues for careers and they actually get to kind of be hands-on in them all, but then they get all these life skills at Lord's too, where they were at. So yeah, I think those were the big takeaways for me. Is I felt it was a really good step, not just to prepare for college or not college, but really to prepare you for like being a functional adult in life.
Yeah. I think going along with that, the application piece. So yes, learning it and getting to network and going and seeing, connecting with all these employers in the area, but the hands-on application of an internship and living on our own in an apartment with people, like that was a whole new experience of having a roommate and learning new communication skills, how to work through different things. And then again, for me, from my career services experience, I worked with freshmen a lot and was a first year seminar teacher. And one of the things that I saw in so many freshmen, they were coming in and completely clueless. They just came to college because that's what they were supposed to do, or pressure from their parents. And and the ones that really struggled were, they spent all this money, or their parents spent all this money, and they were completely lost. They didn't know why they were there, and they ended up failing a lot, and having to either change their major or go somewhere else. And it's just, this is the perfect program. Like I feel like every state, every city needs it.
That's really cool. I'm glad to hear like from your guys' perspective of once you kind of learn more about the program, you're like, this just makes sense.
No, yeah.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
that's really cool. Dig in a little bit to kind of your headspace when you first came in the program, what you were interested in, maybe what you thought the program was going to be.
Okay, so when I first entered into the program, I was super, as my dad said, I was super interested in cosmetology, and I was also interested in law and psychology, and I like to say that I have a very creative side and a very analytical side.
Talk about your internship experience, your first semester, and kind of what that was like for you.
So my first internship, I was at Shoemaker, Lupin Kendrick. It's a law firm in downtown Toledo. When I first got the internship, I had to go through a whole interview process with the head of HR. And so it wasn't like I just stepped into a job. Like I still felt like I was able to earn the job for myself and it wasn't just given to me, which was a really fulfilling experience. And then once I was in the internship, there was a schedule outlined for me where I would like cycle through all of the different departments in the law firm. And then I was also able to connect with multiple lawyers there. And one of them invited me to go to a client's house for a will signing. So I was able to experience that as an intern as well. So I had a ton of different opportunities and exposure at Shoemaker.
That's really cool. So being able to rotate through all of those departments, did you land in a department or something that like sparked your interest to?
I really enjoyed the accounting department.
Okay.
I really connected with the CFO, Sarah Diller, and we still talk and go out to lunch. I mean, even now. And we really connected. She really ended up trusting me and giving me a lot of work that I feel like normally an intern wouldn't have, and I really appreciated that. And it gave me a really good, not only example of what it would be like to be in that space, but also just experience in general. So
Okay, that's awesome. So you got quite a few different opportunities to learn different things throughout your time in fifth year. Where did you land at the end of the program? What was your?
So I did not finish out the entire second semester at internships. I actually got a call in April from Shoemaker again, and they called me and they were like, we have this position open and we would really like to offer it to you. And I was super, super excited. Yeah, I mean, I can't put into words how excited I was to get that phone call. But I immediately told everyone I knew, and then I waited a few hours before I accepted it, to not seem too eager, but I was extremely excited.
Yeah.
And so I've been working there since, I believe, April 14th, so I'm actually coming up on my 1 year of working there full time. And I've really, really been enjoying it. I've been a legal administrative assistant, and I've also recently become an executive assistant on top of that. But I think it's 8 people right now, which is a lot compared, but I feel like it's been really good, and I've been really excited, and I've had a lot of opportunities to grow. So
That's incredible. So you're not even graduated from the program. You got a full-time job offer, and you're not even a year into your position, and you've already been promoted. Yeah. What does that feel like?
well, when you put it like that.
I mean, when you like put it in perspective of any other 19-year-old in your position, like maybe mom and dad talk about what that meant to you when you got the phone call from Aubrey of like, hey, I just got offered a full-time position, and just to see where she's at now, what was that like?
I mean, that was exciting. That's what we were kind of hoping for her out of all of this, is she, get some kind of full-time position that was, something that she enjoyed, hopefully something she interned with. And so when she came back and said she got offered a job, I mean, it was really exciting for her. Yeah.
No debt, no college debt,
Yep.
and she's making really good money for her age.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that would have been awesome. So,
And it was a good,
and it's
again,
just good.
yeah, it was that good like entry into adulthood, knowing that you guys facilitated that transfer from, kind of still being the kid, but then like moving on to adulthood. I mean, she got to learn all these skills, which was great. And she always used to talk about some of her classes. And then here she is, and she's got a full-time job, and it's, something she enjoys. And yeah, that was really exciting to see.
Crystal and Nick, what was it like watching Aubrey grow through this experience, and what do you think you saw the most growth in her from?
Well, I'll let you answer this because I think
No. I know she warned you. I get choked up easily, but I'm just so proud of her for, like, it's just amazing to see how much she's grown. I could go on and on, but definitely more than anything, I think her confidence in who she is, confidence in just being able to talk to people. I always share this story when I'm talking to like friends or something about your program and how it helped you so much. It's like when she was applying for her first job, it was like for a retail store or something, and you had to make a phone call. You had to call the HR. And she was scared to death to get on that phone. She's like, what do I say? And it was just like, I'm like, oh, girl, we're going to get you there. And, and it's just so fun to see now she's on the news and she's talking in court to represent fifth year. She's, doing all these podcasts and all these interviews and, and to see her at her work and, hearing all the great feedback she gets there. But she just comes such a long way. And so I would say definitely confidence and communication skills, I would say, is like the biggest area of growth. And even just confidence, not just in like work and talking to people, but life skills as well. Like more and more, you're just getting more confident in the decisions you're making, budgeting and life choices that you have to make and relationship things that you have to, go through. And so
What maybe advice would you have for any parents that their kid comes home and they're like, hey, I heard about this program, and
don't listen to your student about all the facts because it's probably not going to be right.
we need to talk to Jim.
Yeah, I think make sure you really research it, and if your student's excited about it, then spend the time to actually figure out what the program's about. And maybe it's a good fit or maybe it's not a good fit. But I think the other thing as parents is I think it's important to stress to the students that you have an opportunity here in this program. So you need to make the most of every opportunity you have. And so I remember, you and I talked about that quite a bit, how you have this opportunity. You need to actually take advantage of everything that they give you for an opportunity. And that's how you get something out of it. And so that's the only other thing I would say is make sure your students take the opportunity that they have.
Yeah. Aubrey, can you kind of talk about that? What was the overall experience like for you, and how did you decide to take every opportunity?
I don't like to brag, but I try very, very hard to have the mindset of like taking every opportunity, and everything I do is to better myself. So taking every opportunity is a big part of that. Like all of the networking things, going out to lunch with different people in the firm, or just networking in general was a big one, I feel like.
It stretched you.
Yeah, and then asking questions when we had professionals come in and teach us about accounting, banking, finances, life skills, HR, what to do and what not to do. Just trying to throw myself into it as much as I could, even if I wasn't necessarily interested in it. I feel like that was just a super important step of the program, and that's definitely why I got to where I am.
Yeah.
So,
And even the stuff you were worried about, like, some of the networking and social events, I know you were really worried about those, but you did it in spite of the fact that you were worried about it because you wanted to take the opportunity and grow. And that's huge.
Yeah, that's really huge. What do you think? Oh, go ahead. I don't know if you're.
Oh, I just said absolutely. As one other thing you had mentioned, what we would tell other parents, and I
Yeah.
think this is important to remember. because this is something that she also processed too. There's no hurry. Like, I think there's such a hurry when you graduate high school. You have to make a decision right away. You're going to go to college. You're going to go to cosmetology school. You're going to do. I need to figure it out now. Like, you don't. If you go do this program for a year, it's okay, and you can go to college after that. You can go to cosmetology school later. Like, So I think that just a reminder. There's no rush. Don't rush your kids, and this is a great exploration opportunity and growth too. Growth and exploration opportunity.
That's incredible. I love just being able to hear the parents' perspectives, and we're so much in the thick of the weeds and doing the work with the students, but just to see the actual life transformation and just hearing your family's story is really incredible and validating for something that's only been around for a couple of years. So yeah, awesome. Do you guys have anything else that you want to share? Or?
Thank you all for providing this awesome opportunity for Aubrey and other students. And I hope, like I said, I hope it keeps expanding and here and in other cities and states, because it's so needed.
Yeah.
You guys put so much into the program, so much time and effort, and a lot of that is not, you're never going to get that back, that time back. And I know our first year was a little rough on you guys, but we all really did appreciate you guys. So.
Yeah, and we appreciate you all for taking a chance on the program and putting your faith and trust in us that this was going to work. And I think you're just a perfect example of what can happen when you put in the effort and the faith and all the good stuff to make it a success. So thank you guys so much for being here and continuing on Aubrey's 5th year journey.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.